Chosen one, what I'm about to reveal to you will completely transform your understanding of wealth and abundance. If you're watching this video right now, it's not by chance. God has orchestrated this divine appointment because your season of supernatural provision is about to begin. Get ready, because money is about to flow through your hands like water, not for greed or selfishness, but as a divine tool for kingdom purposes. You're about to enter a realm of financial overflow where spending becomes an act of faith, where every dollar that leaves your hands returns multiplied, and where your generosity becomes a testimony to God's unlimited provision. This isn't about reckless spending or material obsession. This is about stepping into a divine flow where money becomes as natural and abundant in your life as water from an endless spring. God is positioning you to be a channel of blessing, and to be that channel, you must first experience the overwhelming abundance that comes when heaven's treasury opens over your life. But before we dive deeper into this powerful revelation, I need you to do 3 things. Hit that like button to activate this message in your life. Subscribe to join our community of chosen ones, reaching for 1,000 subscribers. And leave a comment with the number 93 to signal your readiness for this financial transformation. If you're truly chosen, you'll stay until the end because your spirit already knows this message carries your breakthrough. The divine flow of endless resources. When God marks you as his chosen vessel for wealth, something miraculous happens. The very nature of money changes in your life. It stops being something you chase, hoard, or fear losing, and instead becomes a flowing river that never runs dry. Picture a mighty waterfall that pours endlessly from an infinite source. This is how money will move through your life once you step into this divine assignment. You'll spend freely, not because you're careless, but because you've tapped into a supernatural supply that cannot be exhausted. Every time you release money for God's purposes, whether it's blessing others, building the kingdom, or meeting needs, more flows back to you in ways that defy natural explanation. This divine flow operates on kingdom principles that transcend earthly economics. When you spend money like water under God's direction, you're not depleting your resources. You're actually increasing them. It's like having a spiritual bank account that multiplies every withdrawal instead of subtracting it. The more you pour out, the more God pours in, creating an endless cycle of provision that amazes everyone watching. Your spending becomes an act of worship, a demonstration of absolute trust in God's ability to provide. You'll find yourself writing checks, making transfers, and blessing others with amounts that would have terrified the old you. But now, you do it with perfect peace because you know the source is infinite. The transformation begins in your mindset about money itself. Where you once saw limitation, you now see limitless possibility. Where others see scarcity, you see abundance waiting to manifest. This isn't positive thinking or manifestation techniques. This is a fundamental shift in your spiritual DNA that aligns you with heaven's economy. You begin to understand that money is simply energy, a tool that God uses to accomplish his purposes on earth, and he's chosen you to be one of his primary distributors. Your hands become like golden faucets through which his provision flows to water the dry places in people's lives. As this divine flow establishes itself in your life, you'll notice that money seems to find you from the most unexpected sources. Opportunities will arise that you never sought, doors will open that you never knocked on, and provisions will come from directions you never anticipated. This is because when God establishes you in this flow, he orchestrates everything in the universe to ensure his resources reach you. You become a magnet for wealth, not because of your own efforts, but because heaven has marked you as a distribution center for divine resources. The money flows to you like water because it knows it won't stay stagnant. It will keep moving through you to accomplish God's purposes. Breaking the poverty mindset. Forever. Poverty mindset is one of the enemy's most powerful weapons against God's chosen ones. But today, that stronghold is being shattered in your life forever. For too long, you've been programmed by society, family patterns, and past experiences to believe that money is scarce, that you must clutch tightly to every penny, and that spending is dangerous. But God is rewiring your financial DNA right now, replacing those limiting beliefs with kingdom abundance thinking. You're moving from a mindset of not enough to more than enough, from hoarding to flowing, from fear to faith. This transformation is so complete that you'll look back and barely recognize the person who once worried. But every purchase, the poverty mindset manifests in subtle ways that many chosen ones don't even recognize. It's the voice that makes you feel guilty for buying quality items, the anxiety that rises when you're generous, the fear that grips you when opportunities require investment. But as God breaks these chains, you'll find yourself spending with divine wisdom and supernatural peace. You'll invest in yourself without guilt, bless others without calculating what's left for you, and make financial decisions from a place of abundance rather than lack. The transformation is so profound that even your body language around money will change. No more tension, no more stress, just a relaxed confidence that comes from knowing your source is unlimited. This breaking of the poverty mindset isn't just personal, it's generational. Many chosen ones carry financial curses and poverty patterns that have plagued their bloodlines for centuries. But God is using you as the breakthrough generation, the one who stops the cycle and establishes a new pattern of wealth and abundance for generations to come. As you spend money like water flowing in divine provision, you're actually breaking spiritual chains that have bound your family line. Your children and grandchildren will inherit not just material wealth, but more importantly, a mindset of abundance and a spiritual understanding of God's provision that will bless them throughout their lives. The evidence of this broken poverty mindset will be visible in every area of your life. Your posture will change. You'll walk with the confidence of someone who knows they're backed by heaven's resources. Your speech will transform. No more talking about what you can't afford, but rather discussing what God is providing. Your decisions will shift. Instead of choosing based on price tags, you'll choose based on purpose and divine direction. You'll find yourself naturally expecting increase, anticipating provision, and moving through life with an ease around money that draws others to ask about your secret. And when they do, you'll tell them about the God who provides like no earthly source ever could. The multiplication effect of divine spending. When you begin to spend money like water under God's direction, you activate a spiritual law of multiplication that defies natural mathematics. Every dollar you release in faith doesn't just leave your account. It goes out into the universe as a seed that produces a harvest many times greater than what was sown. This isn't about the prosperity gospel's shallow promises. This is about understanding the deep spiritual mechanics of how God's economy operates. When you spend in alignment with divine purpose, whether it's blessing someone in need, investing in kingdom work, or even enjoying the good things God provides, that money is marked by heaven and programmed to return to you multiplied. The multiplication effect operates on multiple levels simultaneously. On the physical level, you'll see literal financial returns that exceed what you gave. That business investment yields unexpected profits. That gift to someone in need comes back through an unexpected bonus. That tithe opens doors to opportunities worth far more than what you gave. But beyond the physical, there's a spiritual multiplication happening. Your faith is multiplying, your influence is expanding, your capacity to receive is increasing. Each act of faith-filled spending stretches your spiritual container, making you capable of handling even greater levels of wealth and responsibility. This divine multiplication also affects the impact of your spending. When you buy something under God's direction, it lasts longer than it should, performs better than expected, and serves purposes beyond what you imagined. That car you bought runs far past its expected lifespan. That house becomes a center for ministry and blessing. That business equipment produces at levels that shouldn't be possible. It's as if God adds his super to your natural, causing everything you touch to prosper and multiply. Your money doesn't just buy things, it buys blessed things, anointed things, things that carry divine favor and supernatural effectiveness. The multiplication effect creates a snowball of abundance that grows exponentially over time. What starts as stepping out in faith to spend or give beyond your comfort zone becomes an avalanche of provision that transforms not just your finances, but your entire life. You'll reach a point where you're handling amounts of money that would have seemed impossible just months earlier, and you're doing it with complete peace and confidence. The multiplication becomes so consistent that you stop being surprised by increase. You expect it, you plan for it, you build your life around the certainty that God will multiply whatever you release in faith. Becoming heaven's financial ambassador God is positioning you as heaven's financial ambassador on earth, a role that comes with both incredible privilege and sacred responsibility. As an ambassador, you don't spend your own money. You spend heaven's resources according to heaven's directives. This means unlimited backing, supernatural wisdom, and divine protection over every financial move you make. You're not just managing money. You're representing the kingdom of God in the marketplace, in your community, and in every financial transaction you make. This ambassadorial role transforms you from someone who has money to someone who carries the authority of heaven's treasury. As heaven's financial ambassador, you'll find yourself in rooms you never imagined entering, making deals you never thought possible, and influencing financial decisions that impact multitudes. God will give you supernatural wisdom to see opportunities others miss, to make investments that multiply exponentially, and to structure deals in ways that bless everyone involved. You'll spend money like water because you're not spending from a limited personal account. You're drawing from heaven's unlimited resources. Every check you write, every transfer you make, every investment you initiate carries the backing and authority of the kingdom of God. This ambassadorial role means you'll often be directed to spend in ways that don't make natural sense, but make perfect spiritual sense. You'll find yourself led to invest in people and projects that others overlook, to give amounts that seem outrageous to the natural mind, to take financial risks that would be foolish without God's backing. But because you're operating as heaven's ambassador, these unconventional moves yield supernatural results. That person you were led to help becomes a world changer. That project you invested in revolutionizes its industry. That risk you took opens doors to wealth that transforms entire communities. Your role as heaven's financial ambassador also means you become a prophetic sign to the world of God's abundance and generosity. Your lifestyle, your giving, your ease with money all testify to a God who provides abundantly for his children. People will watch how you handle wealth and see something different, not the arrogance of earthly riches or the anxiety of scarcity, but the peaceful confidence of someone who knows their supply is unlimited and their source is eternal. You become a living testimony that challenges poverty mindsets, breaks religious spirits about money, and demonstrates that God wants his children to prosper in every way. The tsunami of wealth approaching your life, chosen one. There is a financial tsunami approaching your life that will sweep away every trace of lack, limitation, and financial struggle you've ever known. This isn't a gentle wave of provision. This is an overwhelming surge of wealth that will transform every aspect of your existence. God has been preparing you for this moment, strengthening your foundations, expanding your capacity, and aligning your heart to handle the massive influx of resources that's about to hit your life. When this tsunami arrives, money will flow through your hands like water because the volume will be so great that holding onto it all would be impossible and unnecessary. This tsunami of wealth is being triggered by a convergence of divine timing, prepared opportunities, and activated promises that have been waiting for this exact moment in your life. Everything you've been through, every lesson you've learned, every test you've passed has been preparing you for this financial flood. The universe is aligning to deliver resources to you from multiple directions simultaneously. Business opportunities will explode, investments will multiply, unexpected windfalls will arrive, and income streams you never imagined will suddenly open. It will happen so fast and from so many directions that you'll have no choice but to acknowledge it as a sovereign move of God. The impact of this financial tsunami won't be limited to your bank account. It will reshape your entire world. Relationships will shift as God removes those who can't handle your new level and brings those who are assigned to your wealthy season. Your influence will expand exponentially as resources give you platforms and opportunities to impact more lives. Your mindset will undergo a complete transformation as you shift from managing scarcity to stewarding abundance. You'll find yourself thinking in millions instead of thousands, planning for generations instead of months, and operating from vision instead of survival. As this tsunami of wealth crashes into your life, you'll discover that spending money like water isn't just possible, it's necessary. The flow will be so strong that you'll need to keep it moving to maintain balance and purpose. You'll fund ministries, start businesses, support families, and invest in dreams at a scale that matches the enormity of what God is pouring into your life. This isn't about becoming rich for richness' sake. It's about becoming a distribution center for heaven's resources, a channel through which God's abundance flows to transform lives, communities, and nations. The tsunami is coming, and when it hits, you'll never be the same again. Divine wisdom for supernatural spending. With great wealth comes the need for divine wisdom, and God is downloading supernatural intelligence into your spirit that will guide every financial decision you make. This isn't worldly wisdom that focuses on accumulation and self-preservation. This is heaven's wisdom that understands the spiritual dynamics of wealth and knows how to spend in ways that create maximum kingdom impact. You'll find yourself knowing intuitively when to spend lavishly and when to wait, when to invest aggressively and when to hold back, when to give publicly and when to bless secretly. This divine wisdom makes you a master steward who can handle millions as easily as you once handled hundreds. The divine wisdom for supernatural spending operates through multiple channels of revelation. Sometimes it comes as a strong inner knowing that defies logic, but proves perfect in hindsight. Other times it arrives through dreams and visions that show you exactly where to direct resources for maximum multiplication. You'll experience divine appointments where God connects you with exactly the right people at the right time for the right financial opportunities. Your spiritual senses become so attuned to heaven's frequency that you can feel when a financial decision aligns with God's will and when it doesn't, saving you from costly mistakes and directing you toward profitable ventures. This wisdom transforms you into a financial prophet who can see economic trends before they manifest, spot opportunities while they're still hidden, and make moves that position you perfectly for coming shifts in the marketplace. You'll find yourself buying before prices rise, selling before markets crash, and investing in industries just before they explode with growth. But this prophetic financial ability isn't for personal gain alone. It's given so you can be a blessing to many, warning some of coming difficulties, advising others on divine opportunities, and positioning God's people for prosperity even in challenging economic times. The supernatural wisdom for spending also includes understanding the spiritual laws that govern wealth, the law of sowing and reaping, the principle of first fruits, the power of covenant giving, and the dynamics of kingdom investment. You'll know how to spend in ways that break curses, open portals of blessing, and establish spiritual strongholds of prosperity. Your spending becomes strategic spiritual warfare, using financial resources to advance God's kingdom and destroy the works of darkness. Every dollar becomes a weapon of warfare, every investment a strategic military maneuver in the spiritual realm. The acceleration of your financial destiny time is accelerating in your financial life, and what should take decades is about to happen in months or even weeks. God is compressing time, fast-forwarding your financial destiny, and catapulting you into a wealthy future that was always yours but seemed so far away. This acceleration is so dramatic that you'll experience more financial growth in the next year than you have in the past 10 years combined. The speed at which money will flow through your life will be breathtaking, like trying to drink from a fire hose of provision. You'll spend money like water because it will come to you like a flood. Too fast and too much to do anything but let it flow. This acceleration is happening because God is redeeming the years that were stolen from you. Every setback, every delay, every financial attack that tried to derail your destiny is being reversed and restored at supernatural speed. The enemy meant to keep you in perpetual lack, but God is using that very pressure to create an explosive release of wealth that makes up for everything you've lost and adds exponentially more. You're not just catching up to where you should be. You're being launched far beyond what natural progression would have achieved. This is divine compensation at a level that leaves observers speechless and skeptics converted. The acceleration affects not just the amount of wealth, but the ease with which it comes. What used to require tremendous effort now flows effortlessly. Deals that would have taken months to negotiate close in days. Money that would have taken years to save appears in your account suddenly. Opportunities that seemed impossible become inevitable. You'll find yourself moving through financial milestones at a pace that doesn't match your natural efforts, because it's not natural, it's supernatural. God's hand is on the accelerator of your financial life, and He's taking you from zero to abundance at miraculous speed. As you experience this acceleration, your capacity to handle wealth expands rapidly to match the pace of provision. Your mindset shifts from scarcity to abundance almost overnight. Your ability to make large financial decisions without anxiety develops suddenly. Your understanding of complex financial structures downloads into your consciousness as if you've always known them. God doesn't just accelerate the money, He accelerates your growth, your wisdom, your influence, and your impact. You become a financial force in record time, spending money like water, not because you're reckless, but because you're operating in an accelerated dimension where provision flows faster than you can contain it. Breaking generational wealth barriers. Are the chosen one, selected to break every generational wealth barrier that has held your bloodline in financial bondage for centuries. The poverty patterns, the limiting beliefs, the financial curses that have passed from generation to generation stop with you. God has marked you as the circuit breaker, the one who doesn't just escape poverty personally, but destroys its hold on your entire lineage. As you begin to spend money like water, flowing in supernatural abundance, you're not just changing your own financial story, you're rewriting the financial DNA of your family line for generations to come. These generational wealth barriers are more than just learned behaviors or environmental factors. They're spiritual strongholds that have been reinforced by decades or even centuries of agreement with lack. But God has given you the authority and the anointing to shatter these strongholds once and for all. Every time you spend in faith, give in abundance, or invest in expansion, you're striking a blow against these generational curses. Your wealth becomes a battering ram that breaks down walls of limitation that have confined your family for too long. You're not just getting rich, you're setting your bloodline free from financial bondage. The breaking of these barriers manifests in miraculous ways throughout your family line. Relatives who have struggled financially their entire lives suddenly find breakthrough. Family members discover talents and opportunities that lead to prosperity. Children and grandchildren grow up with an abundance mindset that attracts wealth naturally. The family narrative changes from one of struggle to one of success from surviving to thriving, from lack to overflow. You become the patriarch or matriarch of wealth, the one who turned the tide and established a new financial foundation for generations to build upon. This generational breakthrough also means you'll be led to spend money in ways that secure your family's financial future. You'll establish trusts, create businesses, buy properties, and make investments that will bless your bloodline for centuries. But beyond material inheritance, you're passing down spiritual understanding about God's provision, practical wisdom about wealth management, and most importantly, a relationship with the God who is the source of all true prosperity. Your legacy won't just be money in the bank, but a transformed family line that knows how to access heaven's resources and flow in divine abundance. The favor that attracts unlimited resources. Supernatural favor is resting upon your life that makes you irresistibly attractive to resources, opportunities, and wealth-creating connections. This isn't natural charisma or learned networking skills. This is a divine marking that causes money and opportunities to seek you out rather than you having to chase them. People with resources will feel inexplicably drawn to invest in you, support your ventures, and partner with your vision. Doors that remain closed to others swing wide open for you. Opportunities that others have to fight for fall into your lap effortlessly. This favor is so strong that you'll spend money like water because new resources flow to you faster than you can spend what you have. This divine favor operates in both natural and supernatural dimensions simultaneously. In the natural, you'll find that people trust you instinctively, want to do business with you, and feel confident investing in your ideas even when they're unconventional. Your proposals get accepted, your applications get approved, your requests get granted with unusual frequency. But in the supernatural dimension, this favor is manipulating circumstances, orchestrating divine appointments, and aligning cosmic forces to ensure resources flow to you from every possible direction. Angels are literally assigned to direct wealth into your hands. The favor that rests on you also multiplies the effectiveness of every dollar you spend. When you invest, your investments perform better than market averages. When you give, your gifts create impacts far beyond their monetary value. When you purchase, you always seem to get extraordinary value, perfect timing, or unexpected bonuses. It's as if everything in the universe conspires to ensure you get maximum benefit from every financial transaction. This favor makes you supernaturally efficient with money, able to accomplish with thousands what others couldn't do with millions. As this favor intensifies, you'll notice that you become a wealth magnet in every environment you enter. Business meetings shift in your direction. Investment opportunities reorganize around your involvement, and financial strategies adjust to include your participation. You don't have to force your way into wealthy rooms. You're invited. You don't have to convince people of your value. They recognize it immediately. You don't have to search for opportunities. They find you. This favor is so powerful that spending money like water becomes natural because you know with absolute certainty that whatever you release will return to you, multiplied through the infinite channels that divine favor opens. The season of unprecedented overflow. You have entered a season of unprecedented overflow where the abundance in your life will exceed anything you've experienced or even imagined possible. This isn't just increase, this is overflow at such a level that containment becomes impossible and sharing becomes necessary. Your cup isn't just full, it's overflowing so dramatically that everyone around you gets splashed with the excess. Money will flow through your hands like water because there will be so much of it that holding on to it all would be like trying to contain the ocean in a swimming pool. Impossible and unnecessary. This season of overflow has been prophetically ordained and divinely orchestrated for this exact time in your life. Everything in the spiritual and natural realms is aligning to produce this overwhelming abundance. The windows of heaven are opening specifically over your life, pouring out blessings that you don't have room enough to receive. Multiple streams of income are converging into a mighty river of provision. Seeds you planted years ago are suddenly producing harvests all at once. Prayers you forgot you prayed are being answered with interest. The overflow is so comprehensive that it touches every area of your life: finances, relationships, health, influence, and opportunity. The overflow in this season isn't just about quantity, it's about quality and timing as well. The money that flows to you comes at exactly the right moments to maximize impact. The opportunities that arise align perfectly with your gifts and calling. The connections you make are divinely orchestrated to accelerate your purpose. This overflow is intelligent, strategic, and purposeful. It knows where to go, when to arrive, and how to position itself for maximum kingdom impact. You'll find yourself with exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, plus an abundance to share with others who are in need. Living in this season of unprecedented overflow requires a complete paradigm shift in how you think about and handle resources. You can no longer operate from a scarcity mindset, because the reality of abundance is too overwhelming to deny. Your planning must expand to accommodate not just enough, but overflow. Your vision must enlarge to include not just personal provision, but community transformation. Your spending patterns must adjust to reflect the reality that you're not managing limited resources, but stewarding unlimited provision. In this season, spending money like water isn't extravagance. It's wisdom that keeps the flow moving and prevents the stagnation that comes from trying to contain what God meant to flow. Your transformation into a wealth conduit God is transforming you from someone who receives wealth into a living conduit through which heaven's resources flow continuously to earth. This transformation is fundamental and permanent, changing not just your bank account, but your very nature and purpose in God's economic system. You're becoming a living pipeline, a golden channel through which divine provision flows to meet needs, fund vision, and establish kingdom purposes on earth. As a wealth conduit, money flows through you like water through a river, constantly moving, always refreshing, never stagnating, forever abundant. This transformation into a wealth conduit involves a complete rewiring of your relationship with money. You no longer see yourself as an owner of wealth, but as a manager of God's resources. Money doesn't stop with you, it flows through you. You receive not to hoard, but to distribute. You accumulate not for security, but for strategy. This shift is so profound that your entire nervous system recalibrates to handle the constant flow of resources without stress or attachment. You develop a supernatural capacity to receive millions and release millions with equal ease, knowing that the flow never stops as long as you keep the channel open. As a wealth conduit, you develop supernatural sensitivity to where resources need to flow. You'll know intuitively when someone needs exactly what you have to give. You'll sense divine appointments for financial blessing before they manifest. You'll feel the pull of kingdom projects that need funding and know exactly how much to invest. This isn't guesswork or emotion. It's divine intelligence flowing through you, directing heaven's resources with precision and purpose. You become like a spiritual GPS system for God's provision, always knowing the right destination. For every dollar that flows through your hands, the power of being a wealth conduit extends beyond just moving money. You literally transform the spiritual atmosphere wherever you go. Your presence breaks poverty spirits. Your generosity destroys lack mentalities, and your overflow inspires faith for provision in others. You become a walking testimony to God's abundance, a living proof that His resources are unlimited. People are drawn to you not just for what you can give them materially, but for the hope and faith that your transformed life provides. As you spend money like water, flowing freely in your role as heaven's conduit, you demonstrate a dimension of spiritual life that most have only dreamed about, but you now live as your daily reality.